I've been working as a nutritional therapist with people who have been suffering from mental health conditions for about the past 3 years. There have been a number of health improvements that I've seen my clients experience when transitioning to a carnivore diet. The interesting thing is that once the person cleans up their diet and starts on the nutritional program, once they're no longer inflaming their digestive system, their body, their brain, and once they're finally fueling and nourishing their brain properly, the improvements happen pretty quickly. Most of the people that I've worked with experience a significant improvement in their symptoms and how they're feeling and functioning within the first few weeks. So anywhere from between a week to 2 to 3 or 4 weeks is when most people start to experience a significant improvement in their symptoms. And so long as they remain strict with their diet, they continue to gradually improve. Many of them experience a complete cessation of their symptoms, which is pretty amazing. So some of the things that I've seen improve on a carnivore diet are, of course, anxiety and depression, panic attacks. I've had many people with anxiety, depression, and panic attacks who have suffered for years and years, who have tried psychotherapy, who have tried medications, and not found success through those other types of treatments. Simply by cleaning up their diet, going carnivore, they experience a pretty quick, pretty rapid improvement in their mental health, in their mood, in their anxiety levels. They stop experiencing panic attacks. And a lot of these people have been through trauma, PTSD, things like that. So even in those cases with regards to trauma, PTSD, where a traumatic incident or situation may have triggered or exacerbated the person's anxiety, panic attacks, and depression, even in those cases, dietary improvements have a profound impact on their mental health and their functioning. And that's because malnourishment and inflammation of the brain are the root cause of mental health conditions. Other things that I've experienced improvements in, or I've seen clients experience improvements in, are ADHD, ADD, focus issues, hyperactivity issues. A lot of kids, even young kids, kindergartners, kids in primary school, teenagers with really bad focus issues, ADHD issues, really experience a significant improvement when they clean up their diet. And kids can go on a very strict, nutrient-rich, non-inflammatory diet. It's not something that's possible just for motivated adults. And typically, the dietary changes tend to be a bit of a challenge for kids in the first few days, but they adapt to it and get used to it pretty quickly. And then the interesting thing is that they don't really miss the other foods too much. And the reason why is because they're finally feeling better. They're feeling like their body and brain are being nourished properly. And, they might not understand that concept of nourishment and so forth, but they're feeling better and functioning better, and they're really enjoying the nutrient-rich animal foods, meats that they're eating. So it's actually very quite easy for them to go on and to maintain a strict either ketogenic or carnivore diet. I've worked with a lot of people, children and adults, with emotional and anger regulatory issues. So people who have a very difficult time maintaining stable emotions. So they get very emotional and or very angry at the drop of a dime. They have disproportionate anger responses or emotional responses to various stressors, and it can be a very small stressor, an inconsequential, insignificant stressor, which really puts them in a very bad place with regards to their anger, and they have a very difficult time calming down afterwards. Surprisingly, that's not something. Controlling our emotions. We shouldn't have to control our emotions, or we shouldn't have to make an effort to maintain stable emotions. This should be our default state, and it is our default state, again, when our brain is functioning well, when we're fueling and nourishing our brain properly, and not inflaming and poisoning it through processed garbage foods. So this is something that really, and also within a few weeks, the change is significant, noticeable. And one of the more interesting situations is with young children, 6-year-olds, 7-year-olds, 8-year-olds in school who are experiencing behavioral issues. So they have angry outbursts. They will get in fights with other kids. They'll get in fights with the teacher. They'll throw things in class. They'll destroy property, school property. Really misbehaving and angry outbursts, meltdowns for, again, very insignificant things that happen and stressors that happen. And these are situations where the parents being called by the principal of the child's school on a daily basis to come pick up their child because their child has behaved inappropriately or violently or aggressively towards one or more of the other students and or the teacher. And the sad thing is with a lot of these types of cases, so the child's labeled a bad kid, and they continue to hear that over and over again and experience themselves getting into trouble, and not because they want to get in trouble, not because they want to have these angry outbursts and behave aggressively and violently, but because they can't control themselves. They can't control their emotions. They're just flooded with rage and anger, and they cannot control it. And so they have these uncontrollable outbursts that get them into trouble, and that they're then labeled as a bad kid, a problematic kid, and that label kind of sticks with them, and it's kind of a self-fulfilling prophecy, unfortunately, with a lot of kids. So one of the nice things is again, it's a fairly simple fix, and it works wonders. Kids who have been, very problematic troublemakers at school and have gotten into trouble all the time, again, within a few weeks, their emotions are stable. They're not having angry outbursts. They're not getting angry and frustrated at the drop of a dime. And it's really amazing that the teachers can't believe it. The parents can't believe it. The parents are no longer getting phone calls from the school principal to come pick the kid up from school. And it's just from, again, fueling and nourishing the brain properly and not inflaming it. It's nothing that we had to teach the kid how to behave, how to listen, how to pay attention, how to remain calm, how to keep their hands to themselves. A child knows how to do all those things when his or her brain is functioning well. So that's a really neat thing that I've witnessed many times with many clients. Things such as schizophrenia, paranoia, delusions, these are mental health issues that are considered more, more of the extreme cases of mental health conditions. But even with these people experiencing hearing voices, having delusions, being paranoid, thinking that everybody's out to get them or people are watching them, things of that nature. Again, without medication, without therapy, just by changing their diet and their brain being nourished properly, fueled properly, and not inflamed, the voices that they're hearing are less frequent. So they hear the voices less frequently, and the voices are more calm and not as loud, and they tend to go away slowly and steadily. And the same thing, the paranoia, thinking that people are out to get them, people are following them, tracking them, listening into their to their phones, their conversations. These things tend to also improve, which is very, very encouraging. Migraines, worked with a lot of people with chronic migraines who have had migraines for years and years or decades and have tried every different type of migraine and headache medicine to no avail. And again, these things tend to resolve and go away fairly quickly with dietary improvements. And again, when you think about a migraine or a headache, this is pain that we're experiencing. And why are we experiencing pain? It's not, for no reason. The body, we experience pain and other unpleasant symptoms, like, for example, the other mental health symptoms that I mentioned previously. This is a message that our body is trying to give us that something is not right. So we feel pain when something's not right, when a part of our body is being damaged. And so the reason why we experience migraines, depression, anxiety, focus issues, anger issues, emotional regulatory issues is that our body is telling us that, hey, our brain is inflamed, it's malnourished. Please do something about it. Correct this problem. Start nourishing the brain properly and stop inflaming and poisoning it. And that's really how we have to look at these types of issues. Is there a message from our body to correct damage that's being done to a part of our body, in this case to the brain? And we shouldn't discard the message and try and quiet the messenger by taking medications or painkillers or Tylenol, things like that. What we need to do is address the root cause to be able to overcome and get rid of the symptom or the issue altogether. Insomnia, sleep issues. These are other issues that I've seen resolve. Again, people have tried everything to sleep better. A key factor, again, is nutrition. Tics and Tourette's. So worked with a number of kids with tics, vocal tics, muscular tics, and Tourette's, and they do very, very well with the carnivore diet. Worked with a lot of kids with autism who were nonverbal and could understand what people were saying, but could not speak or did not speak. And again, after only a few weeks of being on a strict high-fat carnivore diet, a lot of these kids start talking. They start saying words, start stringing words together, and start saying sentences. This is one of the more exciting things to witness is for the parents, of course, and also myself, is seeing a kid who has never spoken before, and they start talking, and they start communicating, and they start expressing themselves. Not only that, but they start expressing their emotions and talking about their emotions, which is, again, something that they'd never done before, and pretty amazing that they have the capability to start doing this only a few weeks into eating properly. Other issues. So in addition to all these brain and mental health issues that I've seen improvements in with my clients, I've also seen a lot of improvements in physical health issues, conditions, symptoms as a result of going on a carnivore diet, cleaning up and improving our diet. One of the common things are cardiovascular and metabolic improvements, such as a high blood pressure and excess body fat. Again, these aren't really goals of ours to correct these issues, but by improving our diet and how we're fueling and nourishing our brain, we're also improving how we're fueling and nourishing our other organ systems. And when we do that, and when we're not inflaming our other organ systems, they respond and heal as well. So yeah, I've had a number of clients who have been able to come off high blood pressure medications that they'd been on for decades, only a few weeks into changing their diet. Most people who have excess body fat, who are overweight, the weight tends to melt off effortlessly without them trying, without them restricting calories or meal portions, food portions. And again, this isn't a main goal or priority of ours. Of course, if the person has excess body fat and is overweight, they wouldn't mind. And in a lot of cases, they want to slim down and lose some weight, but it's not a specific goal of ours. And I tell people, don't restrict. Eat when you're hungry and eat until you're full. And don't worry about it. I tell them that any excess body fat will melt away pretty seamlessly and effortlessly. And that's what happens. And usually with most people who are overweight, when I tell them that they're going to be eating a high-fat ketogenic diet or a high-fat ketogenic carnivore diet, they're a little bit worried and express their worry to me that they don't want to gain excess body fat or gain additional body fat, that they actually want to lose weight. And I tell them, don't worry about it. You're not going to gain any additional body fat. If anything, you're going to lose weight. And most people don't believe me when they first start my nutritional program, but a lot of times it's happened. You fast forward a few weeks after they've changed their diet, and that same person will come to me and says, "Yeah, I'm getting comments from relatives, from family members who are saying that I'm losing weight too quickly, that I'm getting too skinny. Is it okay? Should I change my diet a little bit? Because I don't know if I should be losing this much weight this quickly." And so it's interesting that without trying to lose weight, their body composition optimizes, and that excess body fat effortlessly sheds and melts away without them really making an effort at trying to lose weight. Digestive issues. These are another common issue that a lot of people experience who I've worked with. Anything from acid reflux to chronic diarrhea, to chronic constipation, to gassiness, to bloating, to abdominal pain. Many people experience these types of issues. Again, many of the people that I've worked with have tried different types of medications, have tried Pepto-Bismol, have tried taking antacids, Tums, things like that, and where nothing has worked for the most part, the people continue to experience these chronic digestive issues. And again, within a few short weeks, many of the people experience a cessation in their symptoms. And I'm talking about people who have been chronically constipated for decades and nothing has helped. And within a week or two, they're no longer constipated. And it's just from eating real nutrient-rich, unprocessed foods and avoiding all the garbage. Had a lot of people, a lot of clients with inflammatory health conditions, inflammatory related conditions like chronic pain, joint pain, lower back pain, fatigue, skin issues like eczema and rashes. These inflammatory issues also tend to significantly improve and oftentimes go away completely, again, in a very short period of time after starting a carnivore diet. And again, this isn't really the focus of what we're trying to improve, but many of these people have these other inflammatory type issues, and they improve very quickly and very well. And again, people with who have had chronic fatigue, fibromyalgia, things of that nature for decades, and or chronic pain, and have tried everything they can think of, and nothing's worked. And a simple dietary improvement makes a huge difference in how these people are able to feel and function. So those are some of the issues that I've seen improve and resolve with a carnivore diet. As I mentioned, it happens thankfully pretty quickly. So if any of you have experienced any issues, health issues, whether mental or physical, that have improved on a ketogenic or a carnivore diet, please let me know in the comments below. If you found this video to be beneficial and informative, go ahead and click the like button. If you know anyone who can benefit from a carnivore or ketogenic diet, please feel free to share this video with them. And if you want to be updated and informed on upcoming videos, future videos that I put out on diet, nutrition, health, mental health, physical health, body composition, please click the subscribe button. Thank you for watching.